So, I know this semester is a bit unusual, and honestly, I would have greatly preferred to be sitting with you live, especially teaching something like psychology. But thankfully, this is something that transfers well to online education since mostly it requires that you do the reading and you follow up with the lectures and you follow up with everything I'm going to be explaining to you. I'm going to go through this. We're going to go a little bit slow in the beginning as I get you ready for assignments and as I get you ready for the online medium. So online education differs a little bit from standard education in the sense that I require you to participate more. I require you to invest more in the class, which means you will have to be doing something similar to this, some presentations, some research on your own. I can't be with you there to actually see and monitor. You have my WhatsApp, so that's one way you can speak to me always directly. You have the group and you can speak to me directly if it's a private question. You have the forum. I'd like you to check it maybe once a day, once every 2 days. Try to be interactive. Don't also interact just with me, but interact with your classmates. So if you've read anything interesting, for instance in your first assignment, which was the introductions, you read something interesting in someone else's introduction, do interact. It is meant to make you as cooperative as possible. Your grade will be based on small assignments that are over the semester, so you will have about maybe 10 to 20 short assignments online. You will have some research projects, some presentations to do, and I will try as much as possible to cater towards your curiosities and to things you're interested in. Why Intro to Psychology? I know a lot of you take it because it's just your required humanity. Psychology is one of those courses that are, I would say, crucial to absolutely everyone. Psychology interferes with everything in our life. Whether you're studying business, hospitality, economics, marketing, public relations, radio, TV, film, graphic design, interior design, the psychology of images, space, communication, the way we deal with each other, the way you present your body language, or the way you present yourself, the colors we use, everything in life pertains to this subject. So in one way or another, this course will help you if you invest the time in it. So when we start off, you notice in the introductions, I started asking you, and one of the most common questions to ask in psychology is try to understand why. Not what you do, but why did you choose to do this and not choose to do that? Why did you focus on this? So in your introductions, I was very interested to see on how you introduced yourself, why you chose what subjects to introduce about yourself, how you kind of reacted to the questions that I would ask you. This is part of understanding psychology. Freud would tell you that most people who study psychology to understand themselves before they can help others. That's the other greatest benefit. Psychology will greatly help you in trying to come to grips with why you do the things you do. I've read comments like, I'm moody or I'm shy. There's a reason for this. I'm not saying you need to change. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with anybody. But it is very interesting as a human to be curious and to be interested in why things are the way they are. So psychology has a lot of different things. I'm going to start off by explaining just one of the main big differences. We talk about a psychologist and we talk about a psychiatrist. So a psychologist is a degree in the arts and it deals mainly with what's called talking therapy. So it's the counselors, it's the tradition when you watch sitcoms, when you watch things like this, you hear them, they usually go to a psychologist. And you would usually go to a psychologist first, and if he considers or she considers that they cannot help you with just what's called the talking cure, which is you speaking and them asking you questions. So if they think that's not enough, they will then send you to a psychiatrist. A psychiatrist basically studies more or less the same thing, except they specialize in problems that require medication. So antidepressants, anti-anxiety medications, different medications to deal with slightly more severe cases where the issues that you're dealing with affect you in a bigger way. So there is a chemical need to actually help. One of the biggest things we need to get over in our culture is this stigma, this negative appeal that, oh, you went to a therapist, means you're crazy. You went to a therapist, oh, this is a bad thing, you should hide it, it should be a secret. We all basically go to therapists, even if we don't call them therapists. When you talk to your best friend or you talk to an older person that you trust, this is basically what therapy is. Sometimes, though, it is necessary to speak to somebody who is trained in the profession, who is also a stranger, because when you're speaking to a friend or somebody you know in life, that can create certain complications in the way you speak. You might be sensitive about certain topics, and the way they react might be affected by your relationship or by what they're trying to do, rather than by actually listening and helping you. So there's nothing wrong with that stigma of going to a therapist. There's nothing wrong with going to a counselor, a psychologist. We all need to speak to people. And we do this throughout things. How does psychology enter into your life? It's in absolutely everything. Every advert you've seen, every commercial has a huge psychological basis for why we design it the way it is, to appeal to certain things in psyche. Some of it sometimes is actually destructive, and it's important for you to understand where film and media or where the press can actually be abusing you psychologically in order to sell you stuff, and where it's actually helping. Literature, novels, whenever you find a character you love in a movie, what you're speaking about when you say that you love a character, it's not their behavior, but it's actually their personality and their psychology. So hopefully you'll start to understand. Within psychology, we've got different schools of thought. Maybe the most famous name throughout psychology would be Freud, Sigmund Freud, and the basis of that is psychoanalysis. And we're going to be speaking about that a lot. B.F. Skinner is one of the other big schools. That's behaviorism. You've also got Maslow and humanism, and you've got a couple of others between biological, neuroscience. There are so many different branches in schools. So this course is a taster. It's a sample of everything. We're going to talk about briefly in the beginning about the schools of psychology. Then we're going to get into the different parts of the human. So we're going to go through early development, childhood, personality, motivation, how things are created in your mind, how you're trained to do things, how you can untrain bad habits in yourself, how you can train yourself towards more positive appeals to yourself. These are all parts, and they are kind of the core of psychology and why it is so important for us. What I ask from you is, when I give you the readings, when I give you videos like these, please focus on them. I'll keep my videos under 15 minutes so that they're never too long. You can always play them back. I want you to ask questions and I want you to interact. We will be getting weekly assignments. I'm not always going to be giving you feedback. Sometimes I'm going to be asking you to give feedback to each other. You will have research papers, short papers, nothing's going to be too long. And you will have presentations sort of like this, but that'll be later on during the semester. I want you to be as interactive and as curious as possible. So please try to activate that curiosity that kind of dies out with higher education, with the way the world is. Don't focus on what, focus on the why. Tell me what you're curious about, ask questions, and be as open as possible so that I can actually help you and help make this class as interactive and as dynamic as it can be, even though it's on the screen. I'll be talking to you guys soon.